welcome back to my channel. Or if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, you've been here a time or two, you have not yet hit that subscribe button, I absolutely invite you to do so. Those who have already subscribed and are back, hi, welcome back. So glad that you're here. In today's video, we are testing out some new makeup that I got from the Sephora VIB sale. Some of it is not from the Sephora VIB sale, okay? It's not, but I still think it's good stuff. So what are we trying out today? That is the question. So first we have this from Freck. This is the Rich Bitch Protect Plus Prime Serum. I'm excited about that. Then we have from Lawless. This is the perfecting powder that's supposed to be talc free. I have mine in the shade Fair. Then from Miss Mama Pat herself, I bought the new bronzer. Oh! I bought the new bronzer. I think this is going to be perfect. And this is in the shade Naked Desire. We then have the Say Super Glowy Skin Lightweight Luminous Foundation. I'm very excited to try that. We have this from Glowish, which is the Sheer Concealer. I'm excited about that as well. We've got some blush options here. So I have a cream blush right here. This is from Jaclyn Cosmetics Plush Blush Blurring Cheek Tint. I have mine in the shade Plush Beige. And then for the powder option, I was going to go to what I've got similar that I picked up. I have tried a few of these before. I really love the House Labs blush formula. I think it's really good. And this is in Pomelo Peach. So I picked that up. For a cream bronzer, I have this from Freck. This looks very, very tiny. It's much tinier than I had originally anticipated. Also in the lip category, I have this lip oil that we're going to try from Blend Bunny. They came out with like the Bear and like the Insane. I will be featuring those in like multiple videos. And then we also have for the lips, some of the, like a little lip combo. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to add the gloss, the lip oil on top of one of these, but we have this from Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper. This is in Hot and Spicy. And then the two things I thought would maybe go somewhat close with it is going to be the Makeup by Mario Smoky Pink. I had another one, but I don't know where my other one went. And then I have this lip oil in the shade Joy to try out. Then for the palette, I wanted to do something a little bit smoke and grunge. So I have the Chucky palette from Glamlight. I have the whole collection, but really right now, this whole thing is just, it's speaking to me. I have black pants, a black shirt, and then just literally this little cardigan over top. I thought we could do something really, really cute with this. So if you guys are excited to see what I think of these products, how I'd rank them at the end, then definitely keep on watching. I personally really like to start off with my eyes. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to dive on into this Chucky palette. So you can go a little bit more of like a gray route. You can go a little bit more of like a pinky route. There does leave some room so for like some sort of like neutralness. So I'm going to start off with the shade right here called Scarier Than Ever. I'm going to pick that up on a brush. And just start there. Next up, I want to move on into the shade right here. This is going to be called Let's Be Friends. And we are going to kind of just put that down a little bit lower and work on just blending that. I would zoom you in much closer. I would. But the feature is broken. So then you're like, well, just bring us closer. I get it. I do. But I have a book idea for a video. And my literal desk is just flooded with books, and of course my stuff dies. Like, it can't be any more, right? Like it's always got to be one of the, it's always got to be something. But this is really pretty. I'm really liking the blending. I'm really liking the color story. I think this is a really fun grunge palette. I know there's quite a few people I've seen in comments a lot stating that they would really like a grunge palette from certain brands. I don't know if Glamlight was ever one of them. I know like they Give Me Glow used to have one and they took it away, and that has angered some people quite a lot. Also, if you can hear my dogs, I apologize. I'm trying to get them to be quiet, but they are riled this morning, and I can't put them out in the yard because it's 5 a.m. and I don't want them to see a squirrel or anything like that and then start barking and waking up the neighbors, okay? That's the last thing that I need. That's it. Okay, so then, I think for the outer corner, I think I'm just going to go with this one. I was thinking black, but I think maybe this one might be better. And that's called It's Time to Play. So we're just going to pick this up, and I'm just going to start stamping that into my inner corner. I feel like this still kind of gives a pretty good black, like light black vibe, like a soft black vibe. Not so much like a dark gray like it looks like in the pan. This definitely is coming out kind of a really pretty soft black. So for the shimmer part, I think I want to try a couple different things. So first I want to start off with this right here. That's called It's Showtime. I'm going to take that, and I just want to put this kind of on like the middle to outer portion of my eye. Okay. Yeah, kind of like, oh, that's really pretty. Kind of like that. And then I want to go into the shade. Let's do issue 666. Why did that sound like I was just fusing out? I don't know. Oh, but it did. Okay, it's not too bad. Maybe I want to kind of take a little bit of Wanna Play, which is like a light silver. Kind of just tap it lightly over everything. Yeah, kind of made like a really pretty custom color. I think that's really pretty. While we are waiting for my lash glue to dry, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start priming with the Freck Rich Bitch Protect and Prime Serum. Use 1 to 2 pumps in the morning after cleansing and toning to prime and protect your canvas for makeup application. At night, pat on your skin after moisturizer of your choice to lock in hydration. This is a multi-benefit primer serum that melts into the skin, transforming from a lightweight cream to an oil texture that's hydrating, nourishing, and rejuvenating. Infused with prickly pear squalene, sodium hyaluronate, and Japanese camellia and yam to improve the appearance of skin and perfect for priming it for makeup application. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Very cute. I'm going to shake it up. I didn't say anything about shaking it up, but that's what we're going to do anyways. Yes, my lash glue dried a lot faster than I thought. But so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pump out. It says 1 to 2 pumps. So I'm going to pump out 2. Okay. It does feel like a cream. And then, yeah, it does turn kind of oily. Interesting. Huh. Okay. It feels so good. It has like a little bit of a scent. It's not overpowering. It's just kind of like a spa type of scent. But that's very, very hydrating. I mean, that glow, like I had a glow before, but like that amped up my glow and it just looks wet. It just looks so wet. I really like this so far. I don't know if I'll like it the rest of the way through, but we're going to find out. So next up is this Stay Glowy Super Skin Lightweight Luminous Foundation. Oh, mine has already started to separate. I don't know if you can tell. The bottom, I need to shake that up really well. It says Buff and Blend Glowy Super Skin Foundation using the base brush for a weightless true to skin finish, which we all know I'm not doing that. And that's literally what it says. I'm assuming this is supposed to be very, very luminous. It says for a weightless true to skin finish. I'm not really for sure. Well, let's go ahead. Let's get out a pump. Okay, so it's about a pump and a half. And I'm just going to take some, blend it onto my sponge. Where's my mirror? This is where I like the importance. I would say this is a pretty good medium type of coverage, you know, like you can still see a little bit of my redness, but honestly not a lot. I feel like it really helped even out my skin tone. Really did some covering as well. This isn't like, you know, revolutionary or anything like that. It sinks right into my skin really well. It seems to be doing well with the primers that I have used, which was that Freck, and then I did go in with like a pore filling one. So then let's go ahead, let's move on into concealer. So I have this from Glowish. For the most part, I've usually been pretty happy with everything that Glowish has been releasing. I haven't really hated much of anything. Not supposed to be the lightest. Okay. This is supposed to give you a fresh glow, long wearing, instantly awakens. It's naturally derived ingredients. It's vegan society certified, non-animal tested, which is always fantastic things. So apply a small amount, tap and blend, blur and brighten, repeat to build coverage. So I'm kind of wondering, this says a sheer concealer. I have some dark circles in my like eye area. So I wonder how well that's going to cover them. So I feel like maybe I might need a little bit more concealer than I would normally choose to go in with. Maybe, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead, take the sponge and start stippling this out like so. Okay, that's not bad. I will say I would probably need to see if I could build that up again. It is a little bit more of like that lightweight kind of coverage, but it's very, very hydrating underneath the eyes. Like you can tell, like my eyes are still staying very, very hydrated, which for my dry skin, like Ursula would be so impressed with me if I had the amount and level of dryness, scaliness as her little sea urchins. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that one maybe set for just like a few additional seconds, see if we can build up the coverage. Now, here's the thing. Some things will say build up the coverage, and sometimes you just can't, no matter what. Like there's only a level of so much coverage that a product will provide. Based on the ingredients, what they're marketing, you know, it for. So if it's supposed to be something dewy and lightweight, you're probably not going to ever build it up to full coverage. Yeah, I think that helps some. I feel like my dark circles are for the most part pretty okay covered. You can still kind of see it, but I don't think it's terrible. Especially if you don't have like dark circles, maybe you're like in a younger age range. I think you would really like this. I do have some fine lines, and honestly, they're not sinking into my fine lines. So I would say even if maybe you had some fine lines but you didn't have dark circles, this would be fantastic, especially if you have dry under eyes, such as I do. I'm actually really impressed. I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with that. So now we're going to move on into Freck. This is the Freck Face Hack Precision Sculpting Bronzer. So this is supposed to be a little bronzer stick. Okay. Okay, let's see how creamy this is. Hold on, I'm sorry. Is anything coming off? I can't really tell. You really gotta like build it up and get it on there. So, I don't know. And you're gonna go through this real quick. I can just already tell anybody who wants to know, you're gonna go through this really, really quick. And I feel like for the price I paid, I should not be going through it as fast as I am thinking it's going to be. So this is definitely very much, this is bronzing. This is in the shade Fair. So this is the lightest shade that they have. And this set, I'm not joking, right? It says Fair with neutral undertones. Precision sculpting bronzer. So I would probably not be able to use this for sculpting. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't think there's any way that's going to be a possibility. Because it's just way too warm. Even with this supposed to be going for like neutral undertones, they didn't really have anything for cool undertones. At least in like the fair category. I would not use this for sculpting. I think it's pretty. This blends in really easy. I'm not having any issues with that. It does blend out. You do lose quite a bit of color. So you would have to, again, you'd have to build this up, but I feel like you would go through this just so quickly. Like, so quickly. Like, you have to, like, press hard and I don't know. I feel like the money I paid, I would have paid maybe, like, $15 or $10 for that, knowing that it's Freck, knowing that it's from Sephora. I would have maybe have paid that, and that is before the 20% off discount that I have. So, I don't know. I don't know if I care about this as much. Okay. So now we're going to move on into this from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the Plush Blush Blurring Cheek Tint. This is in the shade Plum Beige. And does it say anything about this? It's a blurred finish blush that's buildable and lightweight for a subtle flush or pop of pigment. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start off with, first of all, this packaging is very, very cute. Kind of reminds me of some of her lipsticks that she had done before. So I'm just going to plop out, I just plopped out like a very like tiny dot. I'm just going to go ahead, take the back of my sponge, start to stipple this out, and then we're going to go ahead and go on into the cheeks. This is definitely very pigmented, I will say that. Very, very pigmented, very, very creamy, but appears to be blending okay. Honestly, I think this may be a good option with like the bronzer because it almost kind of looks like a bronzer as well. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It kind of looks like, but yeah. That one little dot, I still have some left on my hand, as you can tell, and I feel like that's perfect. That's perfect. We're gonna bring it up a little bit because I really like that like bronziness that it gives. That's really pretty. Right now my makeup is just very glowy, hoey. Then we are going to move on into the setting of the face. So we have this from Lawless. This is a perfecting powder that's talc free. This is supposed to be the translucent powder, the perfecting powder that does it all. This talc free formula provides smoothness and polish to the skin in a medium buildable coverage. It may be used alone as your foundation or apply it as your setting powder over foundation. It's a soft matte finish. Okay. Oh, this feels very nice. Very kind of luxe. But my fingerprints are going to get all over it. This is what the inside looks like. Okay, so it does provide a little bit of like that coverage. So I'm going to actually take the side of my sponge first. I'm just like dig in here. And I'm just going to work on setting my under eyes with that. Okay. Alright, maybe not this may not. With a brush, be mindful you're going to get a lot of kick up. And a lot of kickback. Okay. I don't really know if I like this powder. First and foremost, it's really making like the other products that I have kind of separate. My under eyes are looking kind of bad. It's turning my skin a little bit more yellow. It doesn't look like it would be that, yeah, maybe it does have a little bit of a yellow tint. And I feel like I didn't really pick up that much. So, I don't know. This may not be the powder for me. Moving on. So next up we have this from Pat McGrath. This is the new bronzer that she has launched. I am so excited for this. I always really like trying out Pat McGrath's like new products. They're always just seem to be very like elegant. Well, not always, but for the most part. So I'm just going to pick a little bit up and we're just going to start towards the back and work our way forward. Okay. So this does provide like a very light, soft kind of glow. It's very, very pretty. Yes, I do very much like this. I think this is very pretty, elegant. Again, the packaging is kind of the same as like her highlighters and her blushes. Except for this is a bronzer, so I would definitely recommend maybe keeping your bronzers and your blushes and your highlighters separate if you have a lot of Pat McGrath stuff. Just so that way when you're going in there, you're not like having to be like, is this opening them? Is this a highlighter? Is this a bronzer? You know, whatever the case may be, you can just open it up and be like, oh, there's my Pat McGrath bronzer. Like blush shades, you may have to open them up to choose a blush shade, but like, that's about it. Like, that's it. That's all you need. Okay, let me see here. I gave a really pretty, like, sun-kissed bronze to the face. I think it looks very pretty. Hold on, I got a brush hair in my face, on my face. That took me forever. It's very pretty. Okay, so then we're going to move on into the House Labs blush right here. Again, this blush is going to be no different than all of her other blushes. It's very, very cute with that cute packaging. This is what the inside looks like. This blush formula, I just continue to be like super impressed with, truthfully. I like just like how easy it is. I love the pigmentation. I love the blendability. I think the colors that they have thus far are good. Again, it's just a very good formula, and I have heard a lot of people, now that I've done an initial review, I'll watch other people who review stuff like this, that I'm interested in. But, oh, I love the way the sun is like hitting my eyes. They love it too. And like sometimes there's like, they're like hating a lot of like the like House Lab products that I actually really enjoy. Like I really like, I don't mind the bronzer or the highlighter, but I hear some people really kind of complain about that, have some negativity with it. Let's see what happens if I kind of just bring some up over my nose a little bit, you know? Like, let's just see. So now we're gonna go into the lower lash line. So I just want to do something really quick and easy. So I'm gonna go into the It's Time to Play. I'm going to take that on a brush. It's kind of a big packing brush. And I'm just going to focus on that on the lower part of my eye. And then I'm going to go into a Free Hugs, which is this black shade right here. Ooh, it looks like it's going to be pigmented. And I'm just going to put that really close up, and I'm going to do that for the outer 2/3 of the eye. I'm using this one like a brow brush. Yeah, that is a really pigmented black. That might actually be like a good black shade to do like my brows in. And I want to go on into just this gray shade, this Wanna Play. That's kind of what we use to like top the other shades. But I want to use that specifically for like my inner corner highlight. So let's go ahead, let's move on into the lips. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get started with this Too Faced lip liner that's in the shade Hot and Spicy. And then we'll kind of go from there to figure out what we would like the other lip product to be. Okay, how does this work? Oh, it's a click up. So this is a click up. It's actually really thick. That's kind of thick and round. I don't know if I've ever had a lip liner that says round. Let's see how this goes. I don't know if these are supposed to give you any plumping effects. If so, right now I have not really noticed any, which is perfectly fine with me. I don't really like anything that's painful. So let's go ahead, let's pop these out and let's see what color is going to go best with this. I'm really thinking that it's probably going to honestly be the Makeup by Mario one, but you never know really. I'm thinking so. Okay, never mind. Here comes the plumping effect. Yes, yes it is. Oh, that's interesting. That's a lot darker than I had originally thought. And this looks like that's going to be a little bit more orange. I think it is. Well, maybe we can make that work. Let's try it. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, that works. Huh. It says it's a lip oil, but it glides on a lot like a gloss. Okay. That's not bad. I mean, it still is a little bit more orange than I probably would like. I think it's really pretty though. I just don't think it's gonna go with this look. You know what? I need to switch up the lip. I don't like any of the lip options that I have. So then last, now that I got a new lip on, which I just put on this again, the Too Faced, and then I just put on this Pat McGrath lipstick. And then I'm going to take this that has a little bit of pinkness to it. I hope it's not too overpoweringly pink. Let's take a little swatch here first. Oh no, it's like a little light. Okay, like bubble gum. The applicators on these are really big. I love. It has a little bit of like kind of like a, I'd say almost like a fruitiness to it, but it's not overpowering at all. I think I really like this. So here is a completed and final look, testing out some new makeup. So let's go ahead and let's dive on into the ranking. So in last place is going to be this Lawless powder. I did not realize it was going to be more of like a powder foundation. For me, that's just not something that I personally enjoy. It does make my skin look a little bit more heavy. My under eyes don't look that good since I have applied it. It's just not necessarily the powder I think that's going to be a good demographic for me with dry skin. I think if you would like a good powder foundation, that could be a good option to try. Or if you have a little bit more oily skin and would like something that adds not only like more coverage, but also, you know, sets your makeup a little bit better, I think that would be a good option as well. Next up was going to be this Freck bronzer. This is so tiny. I paid a good amount for this to be this tiny. This comes with 3.8 grams of product. Honestly, I've already rolled this thing up like 3 or 4 times just trying to use it to bronze my face today. So I don't think that's going to last very long, which in my large collection, you know, you would think I would be like, yeah, then that means I could like purchase something and actually be able to use it up. But I feel like that's going to be way too quick for the amount of money that I paid. Next up is going to be the Pat McGrath bronzer. The rest of the products from here now, like I just really like. I really liked this. I think the only reason why it's ranked a little bit lower is I just wish there was something that was just a little bit more cool. I definitely just, even with my face being, with my skin tone being as cool as it is, I feel like I just like sculpting powders a little bit more than I like just plain bronzers. Next up is going to be this Say foundation. I thought it was really cute. It was really glowy. It does kind of give a little bit more of that natural skin finish like it was talking about. I don't really find that it was overly glowy or anything like that. This is definitely one of those products, especially for like my skin and what I use for like priming, where I'm going to have to be very careful. I could definitely see where if I'm not using the right products, that could be an issue. Also, this one was already separated by the time I opened it, and I had to like really shake it up, and this is brand new, so I'm kind of nervous for how long the shelf life is going to be. But I do think it's a very good foundation thus far. I'll have to see how it wears to give a more in-depth thought. Next up is going to be this Glowish concealer. I personally really like this. It doesn't do a whole lot for like my dark circles. I feel like I had to build it up to get there. We eventually got there. I don't think you're going to get much more than like a solid medium coverage for underneath your eyes, but I didn't really find that it sank into my fine lines. It gave a really nice like dewy glow underneath, and I still thought it provided good coverage. I could just go in with a color corrector beforehand or dab a little bit like a more full coverage concealer right there in that area. I think that if you're somebody where you have fine lines or you have dry skin, you would really like this. If you're wanting something that's going to give you this effect, but then also cover your dark circles, I definitely wouldn't recommend this. If you're somebody that you're okay with using a color corrector, but you really want that really glowy, beautiful, luminous under eye that looks just very, very natural, then this is going to be the concealer for you, and I really enjoy it. Next up is going to be the Chucky palette. I thought this was a very, very nice palette. So it's a very grunge palette. I love grunge. I could talk about being grunge all day. I think you have a lot of directions to go with the grunge. You have a little bit more of like a neutral pinky route. You have a little bit more of a gray route. You have a little bit more of like a reddish pink route. You can go a little bit more purpley if you would like. I think you have a ton of options. I know that this is a little bit of a grunge palette, and you do get like one light shimmer here. But I kind of wish instead of having two blacks, so you have a black matte and then you have a black matte with like some pink shimmer in it. I honestly could do without the black matte with the pink and gold shimmers in it. It does nothing for me. And replace it with maybe like a lighter pink type of like shade. So you had something for like your inner corner. If you wanted to go lighter, you could. But other than that, I thought that was a really good palette. Glamlight has a really good formula. I'm very impressed with it. Next up is going to be the Too Faced Lip Injection Lip Liner. My lips, where I'd put that, is definitely looking really nice, really plump. You can definitely feel the plumping. It definitely is a little bit more on the painful side. If that's not something you like, you won't like this. I'm not usually a huge fan of like the plumping glosses and things like that, but I mean, my lips are looking very nice, very juicy just from this alone, so I'm very impressed. Next up are going to be these Blend Bunny lip oils. I like this one. I haven't tried any of the other ones, but I really do like this. The one thing is the applicator is really big, but on top of the applicator being big, it's kind of messy, but I feel like you don't get a lot of product on the applicator. Like I have to go in a few different times just to coat my lips. All right. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good product. I just wish I picked up more. But other than that, it makes my lips look very, very juicy, full, natural. So pairing that with the lip injection was a good call, I would say. Next up is going to be this Haus Labs blush. Again, I really love this formula. It's very easy to blend out. There's a ton in the shade range. I think that they're nice and pigmented. Just take your time, blending it out. I personally like to use them in more of like a stippling type motion. I feel like that really helps the product, I don't know, lay down better than just like, swiping it on. I feel like sometimes whenever I swipe them on, I can kind of feel where, like it just kind of stays in one area, but I feel like with stippling, it does a fantastic job. I love the shade range. I love how like, it's almost like it's kind of like blurring some of my pores while wearing the blush. It's a very, very good formula. Next up is going to be this from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is one of her new liquid blushes. I really am impressed. You really only need a little bit of this. The back of my hand is still there. You only need a very, very little amount of this. I think it does a fantastic job of providing really good color with just a tiny amount. So I personally really enjoy these. I'm really excited to try out some of her other shades. There's tons more makeup that I have to like try, so I'm really excited to incorporate that in as well. So my number one product is going to be the Freck Rich Bitch. This is so good. I love the glow that it gives. I love the hydration that it gives. I love the priming that it did for the skin and my makeup. Like I literally had no issue with anything except for that powder. The way this feels is very magical. It's very nice. It's very lightweight, but just like the hydration, the plumpness that it gives, the glow is so good. Like I will repurchase this time and time again. It's just that good. Okay, I was like not going to do this, but I feel like maybe I should. So I'm going to. So when I started doing my makeup, it was about 6 o'clock in the morning. When I finished, it was about 7:10 a.m. So it is now almost 6 p.m. This has been on a very long time. So let's talk about it. So first and foremost, my skin looks very, very glowy all the way around. And in a way, it almost looks like it's greasy, but when I touch my face, there's not really anything super greasy to it. It doesn't feel super greasy. I would say if you have why are my words not coming to me? Oily skin, this will slip and slide. I'm not sure if it's just the foundation in combination with the Rich Bitch, the primer. I'm not 100% for sure. I did use a little bit more of a pore filling mattifying primer in my T-zone, but I still also feel like that's also super just like shiny. So I would feel like if you have oily skin, you may not like this foundation, and you may not like the Rich Bitch primer, and you definitely won't like them together. Another thing I wanted to touch on is the eyeshadow. I used like a tried and true eyeshadow primer along with my NYX glitter glue, and it's just not staying. It's not really holding up. I will say I do really like the Makeup by Mario little lip formula. You won't like it if you don't like very intense colored lip glosses. If that's not something you're into, I don't think you're gonna like those. I don't mind them because I can just throw on a lip liner and then throw on like a heavily like lip gloss if it's that kind of a day that I'm into, which usually on those days, it's a day when I'm not gonna really wear a mask and I'm able to let my lips be nice and hydrated. But I know some people do not like that, so just note there. But I will say it kind of has like a little bit of like a minty tingle to it. Not as intense as the lip liner. Can you believe this lip liner is still going? Yeah, it's still going. It's not as painful now, but it's not, also the Makeup by Mario is not as painful as the lip liner. You just have to get over the lip liner. My skin is still staying really nice, really bronzed. I would say the powder underneath my eyes still does not look good. Like, it just doesn't. But I will say the powder where more of my foundation was looks a lot better now that time has gone on. So those are just kind of my first impression thoughts wearing this. Of course, I will test it out, do favorites and fails, things like that. But I thought I would hop on here so we could do maybe just like a little bit of a wear test. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you enjoy content like this, make sure you guys have subscribed, click the little bell. Let me know what you picked up from the Sephora sale down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.